to everyone that's here. I'm just going to take you through a brief outline of being a young professional, and also just women within the work environment and certain challenges that one faces within starting your own career. Starting a career and also finding a job. And yes, as mentioned, I am a founder of a women empowerment platform named Slaying in the Hills. And just to clarify, this is not slaying as in social media colloquial urban slaying or slay queens, or this is rather slaying as in like being a woman who firstly begins this career and learns how to somewhat support herself in terms of her work, and also in terms of that transition from varsity to the work world. Okay, so this is an image from one of the sessions that we have. So Slaying in Hills is, we have various sessions, and the idea is to rotate these sessions in various areas. And at these sessions we have interviews, and we also have a photo shoot session at these sessions. And the idea behind that is just to make women feel confident and just to bring out that amazing part of you as a woman. Okay. Right, so being a young professional and landing your way into the work world. Quick story. Very first interview I had, I was called in for an interview, and the interview was in a very remote area where, those places where taxis don't go, like you need to have a car to get there. So I was called for an interview to go to one of these places, and I was like, I'm determined to go. I'm not going to let this stop me. I'm not going to make excuses and not go. And obviously, if I'm going for a job interview, I don't know about you, but I want to rock heels if I'm going for an interview. I'm not going to go for an interview in like pumps or like sneakers. And this was just my mindset that, and also because I'm short, because when I wear pumps, I look a lot shorter and I look a lot younger. So I'm like, I'm not going to let them think I'm a 5-year-old. I'm going to wear heels. So I went to this interview, and yes, taxi dropped me off where the taxis end and whatever. And then I started walking up this hill. So you can imagine now me walking up this hill and everything that's going on in my head at that time. Why did I wear heels? Why can't I just be like other people and just wear normal shoes and all of that? But then I made a decision. I'm like, I could either back out. I could either decide to lower my standards to fit my situation, my circumstances, or I could keep my standards where I want them to be and reach that interview looking the way I want to look. And that's that's the sense of determination rather that helped me, keep walking. And when I thought of that, I just thought of this idea of resilience, and that's how it is when you first start your first job. Well, good news is, yes, I landed the job. Yay, awesome. So I didn't just walk up that hill for nothing. But then also at the same time, as I was walking up this hill, I was just reminded of this idea of resilience and that idea of starting somewhere and not lowering your standards just to fit your circumstances, but rather working hard until what you see as your standards matches your circumstances. And this is what I would want women to be inspired to do. When you first start off your first job, you're with people who have loads more experience than you do. You're around people who know a lot more than you do. But you get tempted sometimes to just withdraw and pull away. But if you look at yourself through who you'll be in the future, it helps a lot for you to keep working hard, keep suggesting things. It's okay not to know everything. It's okay to start from the bottom. It's okay to start somewhere. Okay. So just another story so quickly. So, being a young woman within the work environment, so my idea is to actually inspire mentorship. So what do I mean by that? I don't mean that inspire mentorship as in like you should have like your mommy at work who takes you under their wing and they have to monitor you. Did you have your lunch? Did you do this? Did you send those emails? It's basically just that every single woman acquires a certain wisdom for every life stage that they're in. And once they pass through that life phase, they go on to other things, but they still have that wisdom. And that wisdom that they've acquired or they've learned from whatever life phase they've gone through is what someone needs for like that phase that they're in now. They're in a new phase and they don't know how to handle what's going on around them. And if someone knows something, what well, what difference, or it's not that difficult to actually pass it on to someone else. So it's just to inspire that if I know something that I know could potentially help someone, then pass it on. It doesn't take anything out of you. It's just basically like that, building a chain of mentorship, a chain where women can pass on knowledge through each other, to each other, and that's something that will help someone else to grow. It doesn't have to be a chore. It doesn't have to be something you diarize. Oh, at 6:30, I'm gonna have 2 hours with so and so. It's just basically learning something and passing it on. And then also looking towards a bright future within the work environment. So how does one picture themselves as a higher or much better person when they at level 1? At level 0, where you know nothing and you actually feel like you'll never know anything more, also because everyone else that's around you, it took them maybe 20 years to gain the experience that they've gained, and you counting 20 years from now. Is that something you should be intimidated by? And my answer is no. You should actually look at it as a platform to somewhat start something new and to plant seeds where seeds have never been planted before. And it's just a matter of actually trying to see the beauty within the cracks and seeing how you can bring out something out of all the loopholes, and not something bad obviously, but something to help solve all the problems, to see what, because once you start somewhere, you start seeing what might have been missed. I could see something that someone else doesn't see. It's about, being encouraged to bring up new ideas and actually bringing up new suggestions in terms of, and just being brave. And sometimes you might even find that these new ideas might just be that one thing that changes that environment that you're around, that one suggestion that was needed to have things move on to like a higher level. And then further, don't be afraid to be unique. You don't always have to blend in, because each person has a sense of uniqueness, something that's just part of their personality and that no one else can take away. And that's actually your selling point, I think, because yes, we can hire new people, but we can't replace you. There's that individual sense of uniqueness that you have that nobody else can replace. And then also coping under stress. So sometimes I actually love these pictures, don't you? So sometimes it might feel like you've been pulled from various directions, and it's actually just about finding a balance. And I think at the end of this entire talk, you'll understand what I mean by that. But it's actually just about finding that balance and also learning to know, work, you stress about work when you're at work, but allow yourself time to get home and just relax and do something else that's completely away from work, and that your recharging is what will give you energy or will give you power to actually come back the next day with more enthusiasm and more energy. And also planning your life, so setting aside a to-do list and just making sure that you tick things off your to-do list, and at the same time, if you don't get to all the 100 things you have on your to-do list, it's also just then about finding a working plan that works for you as an individual, and also monitoring your progress and seeing how much work you've done so far. Okay, thank you very much. And my name is Dowerglen, handing over to Monique Mitchell.
Okay, so I'd like to start off with having everyone close your eyes. Okay? No one's closing their eyes. Okay, and I'd like you to raise your hand if you've ever experienced any of the following. Have you ever felt insecure? Have you ever felt maybe not happy in your own skin? Have you ever felt that you've been presented amazing opportunities and maybe not taken them on because you don't have the confidence to do so? Okay, now you may open your eyes. Most people did raise their hands, and this is the reason that I created and started the VPAC. So the VPAC is an online platform for ladies all across the world to come together and motivate and uplift one another. It's a space where women will come and help each other on the journey to their goals, and a space where if you're having a tough day, you've got women supporting you and pushing you to get through those tough days to reach your goals. Because what I have noticed is that if one lady is having a tough day or a tough week and she puts this through on the group, a lot of other ladies pop up and they're saying, you know, I'm experiencing the same thing. And this just shows us that we're all human. And, you know, if we support one another and say, no, don't give up now, come on, you can do this, don't give up, then, you know, you're more likely to push through. Because how many of you can say that when you do have a tough day, sometimes you just feel like giving up and you're like, I actually can't do this is too much for me. So that is why I created the VPAC. I feel that as ladies, we tend to often tear each other down before we're there backing each other and lifting each other up. I mean, we're so judgmental, you know, we're usually like, oh my gosh, what is that girl wearing? Or how did she do her makeup this morning, you know? And we can't really judge anybody because we don't know what they've been through or we don't know what they're going through. And why not support one another and help one another be the best versions of ourselves? That way we can only make the world a better place if we're all destined to do what we're meant to do, and we can do that together, you know, supporting one another. And I strongly believe that, you know, through creating these characteristics and sticking to these characteristics, we build lifelong habits, and from this you'll gain a positive mindset. And what does a positive mindset give you? Once you're positive and once you're feeling happy in your skin, it shows through every aspect of your life. So your career will start, you know, becoming better, you'll do it better. Or if you're in a space or a job that's not serving you anymore, you'll get out of that and you'll do something that you're destined to do. You'll no longer settle for relationships that, you know, don't deserve you, or you'll start choosing what you do deserve and what you don't deserve. And through this, I think we learn our self-worth. You know, once we start looking after ourselves and giving ourselves the best of what we can, you learn what you're worthy of, and you learn who and what's worthy of you as well. So I think it's so important to build that confidence because, you know, as women, we really need that in order to push. I mean, we're expected to be so many things: a career woman, a mother, a daughter, all these different things. And how are we supposed to do that if we're just tearing each other down all the time? So this really inspires me. And from what I've seen, you know, like the rewards of self-belief and the rewards of looking after ourselves and pushing ourselves are so addictive. And who wouldn't want to be the best version of themselves? I'm sure everybody in this room, if you could be the best version of you, you'd want to strive to be that. So I think we should push towards that. But yeah, basically I just wanted to give you a quick run through of that. And I'd like you, before I carry on, I'd like you to watch a video actually shot by Opak Media. So you're going to see their work now on the VPAC. The VPAC's last meet, so every month the VPAC gets together and, you know, girls are able to put a face to a name that they've seen on a screen, or a face to a mentor or somebody that's motivated them. You know, you finally get to meet these people. And yeah.
Hi, I'm G-Ann Platt, and I'm extremely passionate about women empowerment. I believe that women is so strong, but when we come together and when we stand together, we are just so much stronger. So for very long, I believed that I would never be able to own my own business. I thought I wasn't strong enough. I thought that I really lacked confidence in myself and my abilities. So I had so many dreams, I had so many passions that I wanted to live out, but I just thought it's for other people around me, it's not for me. So I stuck to the everyday, going to work, you know, being in that routine. But then the most important thing that I've learned is to really trust in yourself, to believe in yourself and your abilities. So 8 months ago, my sister and I started our own brand. It's called I'm a Lady. So it's a campaign and a clothing brand for women. It is literally to celebrate women in their uniqueness and to celebrate our differences as women. It's not to put a label onto anybody, it's who you are and what makes you different. That is what makes you special. So this business was not started with any financial backing. It's literally, this business was born out of the boldness of dreams. It's my sister and I, we are completely different. We have different dreams, different passions, but we've learned how our different qualities, that when we come together, how that makes us stronger. We've learned that how where we have limitations, we fill each other. And that is what I believe ladies should do. We should empower each other, we should encourage each other, because when we come together, we are just so much stronger. So this was your typical start out of the garage scenario. We worked with our money very wisely. One thing that I've heard once is that the first account that you should pay every month is yourself. Like you pay your clothing account or your cell phone account, you should put a little small portion away. You pay yourself first, and that is what you save to one day start your dreams and start your own business if that is what you want to do. So always remember to pay yourself first. We work with our money very wisely, and now we've doubled our second and our third order. And also the thing that's played a huge role in our successes is social media. It has allowed us to connect with ladies globally. We've heard stories from so many ladies all over the world. We've had people from LA, we've had people from California, South Africa, Kenya, doesn't matter where, people sharing their stories and telling us what it means to them to be a lady. So on our campaign, you are more than welcome to send us your story, what it means to you to be a lady and what it is that makes you different. Because my sister and I, because we are so different, it is our passion to hear other ladies' stories and to tell it through our brand's communication.